Hello and welcome to this stock breakdown of Coca-Cola. During this video, we will be taking a look at the current news surrounding Coca-Cola, what is affecting their stock price and their financial history to allow us to really gauge, with some help of some basic equations, where Coca-Cola stock is heading within the next few quarters or even potentially the next year. There is an article currently by The Moneyful which states Coca-Cola as one of the top 5 best stocks to buy in November. Currently, Coca-Cola sells 33.3 billion units annually. This is up from 32.7 billion units in 2022. As we can clearly see from the chart on the left, this has steadily been increasing year on year, with it dropping during the pandemic. With the chart on the right showing the average percentage of Coke sales in which Coca-Cola themselves claim, this is currently at 47%. This has been steadily decreasing since what we can see on here is 2009. This is due to other competitors such as Pepsi taking a larger stake in this percentage. This could be due to many factors such as boycotts, inflation, and the general public's perception of the company. Looking at the chart on the left here, we can see a massive portion of Coca-Cola sales are just from the United States alone, being at $16.55 billion US dollars annually. And for the rest of the world, it is $29.20 billion annually. This really helps us to see where the market demographic is for Coca-Cola, this showing that it is heavily based in the United States, with a large portion coming from just the one country. Internationally, obviously, they still bring in a lot of revenue, but compared to the United States alone, it's you split this up into the hundreds of countries there are. It's not a very big percentage per country compared to the United States alone. Now moving on to the Q3 report from Coca-Cola. This article states Coca-Cola tops earnings estimate as higher prices offset sluggish demand. Taking a quick look at the key points on this article, it says Coca-Cola posted earnings and revenue that topped expectations. Higher prices helped to offset sluggish demand for the beverages. Coke said it expects organic revenue growth of about 10% this year, the high end of its previous range. On the Q3 report, we can see that earnings per share were adjusted 77 cents versus 74. This is way better than expected. Revenue was 11.95 billion adjusted versus 11.66 billion. This is also way better than expected. So this is essentially the opposite of what we're seeing happening with McDonald's, as Coca-Cola has increased their prices. People are still buying their products, allowing for the offset in demand, still matching up with what they expect to see revenue-wise, as the higher price is making up for the lack of custom. And then on the other hand, you have McDonald's, where people are buying from them less as price increases with inflation, therefore meaning that they are having to introduce new sort of meal deals like the $5 meal deal or the £5 meal deal. So taking a quick look at their financials, they are currently up 8.47% on the year-to-date chart, with a positive price-to-earnings ratio of 26.52, and maintaining their high dividend yield of 3.04%.
Nice.
Moving on to a liquidity equation, this is where you can convert your cash equivalents into debt as a ratio. You want this to be positive, as it means that for every dollar of debt you have, you also have a dollar of liquid cash to pay this back. So for 2021, it was a 0.29 ratio. 2022 was similar at 0.29, and 2023 is 0.32, which is an improvement. However, this is still not good.
Oh shit, not good.
Now we're going to conduct a quick retention rates equation. This allows us to see how much money is retained within the company, dividing the net income by the total revenue and then timesing it by 100 to make a percentage. So essentially in 2022, it was a 22.45% retention rate. 23 was 23.41%, and the trailing 12 months is 22.45%. This is really strong, as you really want to see this above 10%. So being consistently in the 20% markings allows for Coca-Cola to have a very strong and stable profit margin.
Nice.
And finally, we look at the free cash flow. This is essentially what the company will use to pay down debt, stock buybacks, or even in Coca-Cola's case, it is used for paying out dividends at a 3.04%. This ideally wants to see increasing year on year. However, this is very, very volatile for Coca-Cola for some reason, in which I'm not sure about. This could be due to obviously the lack of liquidity to debt ratio. They're paying back a lot of debt at once with the help of their free cash flow. But of course, regarding the debt, they always have a lot of total assets, whether this being liquid cash, which is not as high as it should be, or within the actual software and resources in which they obtain themselves. So clearly, debt is not a massive issue for Coca-Cola. So what does the future hold for Coca-Cola? Well, personally, I believe this is always going to be a very sound and stable stock. This due to the fact that their financials are very strong and there is always customer demand for this company's products. Furthermore, the inflation doesn't seem to affect Coca-Cola too much as they increase price. With lower demand, as we've seen, it is still meeting expectations financially. And of course, the proof is in the pudding with Coca-Cola, as this company has delivered consistently since 1990 and way beyond. So I personally give Coca-Cola a rating of B. This is a very strong stock with great future potential, and there's always the high dividend payout. If you're looking to put more into Coca-Cola, you're going to get a lot out of it. However, I am not a financial advisor, so if you do invest, your capital is at risk. This is just my own personal views on Coca-Cola with the research in which I have conducted. So with that all being said, I'm going to end the video here. If you have enjoyed this and found this useful, please leave a like and subscribe. If you've got any criticisms, please leave them down in the comments down below and I'll be sure to read them all and respond. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you for the next one.